Welcome back, and we have yet another press conference because we have yet another game that has ended. This one between Svidler Anand and Peter Svidler, and it also was a draw. Let's, I guess, begin by just talking about the game itself. I'll let you guys do it since you certainly know it better than I do.
Yeah, the opening of the tournament, the English four nights, and
oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we both played. I think I played 6 English openings in this tournament with White, and yeah, Vishy also had some experience with it here. And yeah, after Rook E8 and in general, I mean, what I played today reflects basically the fact that the tournament is over from the sporting point of view. Because had I somehow won yesterday,
yes,
there would have been something else probably. Because this is, I mean, it's a playable idea, but it's not.
It's not the strongest idea, maybe, or
no, it's not the most it's not the most committal. Let's put it like this. Okay. Not the most aggressive, but it's a playable positional line, and you can get some interesting structures here. For instance, you could maybe go A4 here.
We were looking at that, and it seemed like there was a way for you to actually win the pawn. I mean, obviously, what was the thing we were looking at?
Maybe knight E1.
We even looked at knight A1.
Oh, maybe knight A1.
Yeah, it's a really bizarre idea.
Knight A1, yeah, because knight D4 now I have E3. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the way to go.
It was very odd.
Yeah, there's many weird lines here, and after Bishop E6, after B4 takes. I guess both moves are fine, but I started getting worried about this.
We were looking at knight D5, and it seemed to be okay for White. I mean, unless we're just not analyzing very well.
Possibly, I don't know, but just like takes knight E7.
Now we have knight takes bishop, and then queen B3.
Yeah, maybe, but also just simply bishop B6, I guess, is fine.
I was thinking actually bishop A7.
Even further, yeah, maybe even further.
Well, because when the inevitable happens, I can always play bishop B8 and C6 at some point as well.
Yeah, and these lines, I couldn't convince myself how it would be better because C4 is always hanging, and
right. The typical problem, actually.
Yeah, and after D3, sadly, I'm not in time with my play, sort of, because D5 is just in. Because if I could play before next move, I would be very happy with my position. But unfortunately, D5 happens, and yeah, takes. I tried to, at
make
least
something.
Yeah, I mean, Black can get, this structure. If not for the knight on C6, I mean, if you transfer this knight sort of magically from C6 to D6, Black is much better. Frankly.
But yeah, on C6 it's very
on
awkward,
C6 it's a very awkward square for this knight, and
I tried to be clever and play, and I looked at bishop E3 for a while instead of 14 and 13 knight E3.
Yeah.
Then I realized he can actually take with the bishop. I kind of playing Fe3, and then I thought with the knights it might be different.
Yeah,
but he simply takes with the bishop.
Yeah, this would be awkward with the bishop on C1 here. But of course, I take with the bishop, and then I will retreat to D2 if I have to. And if you take, it's the same position. And after knight C7, once again, if I go knight E4 here, it's a much improved version for Black. After, I think you should probably take with the bishop first, right? I guess.
Yeah. Because Fe3 knight E5 is good. So
yeah, Fe3 you jump here, and if I take with the bishop, this is kind of what I was trying to avoid, because
bishop D5.
Yeah, the knight is not on C6, and I also played knight E4 very early,
okay.
So Black gets a much improved version of the same position. So I took with this knight and went knight C4, and yeah, I was kind of mildly hopeful about something like F6 bishop G2, because now if you protect it this way, I can take, because there's a fork in the end.
Right.
But after bishop d6, yeah, I started actually kind of becoming slightly worried, because if I do the same, like if I do bishop d2, c6, and let's say I play b4, you probably take, and you play something like knight c7. And when it comes to b5, my play on the queen side is over. And Black has a very nice, solid structure, central position.
Not to mention less control of d4.
Yeah, control of the d4 square, the a file. Right. Fighting to regain control of the a file. So yeah, didn't like this too much. And yeah, d4 is also not a particularly pleasant move. But I thought at least I will maybe, if you give me 3 tempi here, I'll be better. Maybe even 2, I mean, might be enough, but...
You wouldn't do that, I guess, no.
No, probably not, yeah.
I had to score my first point against the English. So. I don't think handing over tempi is really worked all that well. Yeah, the only thing here, only interesting moment is maybe that I could play knight b6. Because if I can play a4, then I'm doing really well. So white is forced to do b3. Yeah. After which a4, surprisingly, my knight gets kind of marooned on a4, which I wasn't sure helps me. But then I was looking at c4 with the following idea: queen a3,
whoa,
bishop b6, cb3.
This went over my head completely.
Yeah, but then I sort of realized that queen d4 might kill all these ideas. I mean, there's even some bishop b2 into it. So it just this whole thing
might have been able to find that actually.
And so the whole thing the whole concept doesn't work. No, but so I went for this very solid idea too.
Yeah, but this was worrying me because
now I'm sorry. Can you just back up for a second?
Instead of rook d8, also
why
a4.
Why not? Did you even consider? I mean, is b5 even an option after bishop b3?
No, I think it's
b5.
That's not the plan. I think you put it on b6 and you play for. I mean, the reason I went f4, which is a very committal move. Okay. If you make some kind of a normal move like queen c2 here, black restructures like this: a4 followed by bishop b3. Knight goes to either b5 or e6, and black tries to occupy the d4 square. Because with the bishop on b3, I've already lost the fight for the d file before it began, and this is why I've settled on this move f4, because I mean it looks very risky and you have to calculate all the variations just to make sure you don't lose, but I felt basically every tempo counts here, because if I make a quiet move and black gets this kind of a bind on the queen side, my play on the king side will never be fast enough. And here after bishop f5, if I calculated correctly, I mean this was the plan: rook e1, if black takes, I think I have this fancy move. I think this is how it works. And if f5, I just take, and I go bishop b5. And by this weird triangulation, sort of wire and attack square, I've actually managed to, turn this into a very, very promising bishop. Right. Because on e3, it's not really, because of this b6, c5 structure, it restricts the bishop a great deal. Yeah. And if rook a d8, I think my only move here is queen c1. But I think it's enough. Because bishop b4, bishop c5 is very similar to the game. Yeah. I once again get this. And if the bishop needs to go somewhere
why can't queen c2, why doesn't queen c2 work?
Queen c2, bishop b4.
Bishop c5 is not a transposition.
But b1 is hanging, no?
No, now we have done swapped
the rooks around. It's a different rook. I might regret this, I mean, I think I need to play queen c1. But then if the bishop needs to go somewhere there, I will have, for instance, play with b4 now. And I'm never worse. Once I start actually undermining this, I'm never ever worse. But I think f4 is potentially a precise move which I had to play because, as I said, I had about half an hour left, so I was getting somewhat worried. I will, drift into a position I will have to defend. f4, rook a8, queen c2, and I guess we're both a little bit demop happy because after bishop d5, rook b1, I mean the bishop can go somewhere. Right. And f5, and who knows who's better. Yeah. But with nothing to
really play for,
and for me in particular, after 14 hours at the board in the last two games,
That's right. You had Geary. I forgot about that in round 12.
I welcomed this endgame a great deal because I thought I might even be slightly better, but probably not.
I mean, I was satisfied, but then after g4 I realized that black still has to be precise, because if I find bishop g3, that bishop springs right back to life.
If I manage to stabilize, if I settle the structure on the king side, those bishops will be very, very good. And also maybe I was a bit too hasty with gf5. Maybe this may have been the move. But with a pawn on f4 constantly sort of nagging me, like I don't know, king f7. King f7, and I couldn't really see how I make much progress here. And after gf, I was, bishop f5, rook e5, I'm probably much better, or maybe even winning material. Actually, bishop knight e7, bishop h4 might be unpleasant.
Check.
Although I'm not sure. But just generally placing your pieces like this is not particularly attractive for you. Sure. But after knight f6, I realized that if I want to keep the pawn here, I need to make this incredibly ugly move, bishop h3. And you play even like something like bishop b4, locking everything down, and black will slowly improve, like king f7, a4, b5, and my king is very weak, and I have no active moves. And
black is. I thought I had compensation.
I just I've had much better positions against Vishy in my career. I haven't won a single one of them, so I thought, no.
Better not risk it.
And once again, we come back to the fact that to the tournament effectively,
Okay, so let's talk about the tournament. I mean, obviously, it's over finally. I mean, you sound somewhat disappointed just in the way you're talking about it. I mean, I obviously understand that because you have certain.
I think you will have 7 disappointed people and 1 reasonably happy person.
That's
here.
probably pretty fair.
Yeah, I think this is what will end up happening.
But I mean, part of it also is the satisfaction of how you played or didn't play.
Well, I definitely had chances. I mean,
which is
I wouldn't say I played as well as Vishy or the 2 people still playing, but especially in the first round, I had such a tremendous amount of chances to do something. And I mean, my first and second halves were sort of exact opposites. In the first half, I had, like, out of 7 games, I had 1 bad positions against Vishy, which I lost in 25 moves. And I had about 5 good positions, none of which I won. And in the second round, I basically had to scrap in every single game, was worse in almost every single game, apart from maybe today. And I actually managed to win one of those and not lose any. So I played a very uneven tournament, but once again, there's this feeling that I could have done better. I could have actually fought for what we came here to fight for. Yeah.
Well, came close, obviously. I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, it's a very densely bunched tournament, but I don't call a point of the lead coming close. I mean, I came close in terms of scoring opportunities in the first round. I was maybe ahead of everybody, but it's irrelevant.
Vishy, and the same question applies for you. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know if you listened to Vesselin. He was just in here, and he was saying that he's probably done. I mean, not done in terms of competing, but he just doesn't envision himself being back at this level in this place. Obviously, you're a few years older than him, and you've managed to continue to do this. I mean, you keep climbing this mountain. It's kind of extraordinary. I mean, how long? I mean, is there any way to know?
Well, this tournament was positive already. I mean, it's not been that great since Norway. I mean, I had a very good run last year from Zurich, Shamkir, and Norway, and then I just hit a wall.
Wall?
This was the first really positive event.
And you came very close again, of course.
Which has this bittersweet feeling that I feel that with very little, I think it could have been even better. So, on the one hand, I'm satisfied, and the other hand, there's this feeling of having wasted an opportunity. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, do you have a sense also of the top of this? I mean, again, none of us are young people. The sense of the opportunities disappearing, or you got that sense of like time, or no, not yet. It's not really an issue.
He really wants to discuss this with us, doesn't
I'm sorry.
I know. I can't pretend it doesn't take a toll on me. For sure, I'm aware of my age, and there are just some limitations. But as you can see, it doesn't have to stop you. I thought here I played in a way that I can be satisfied with. The run up to this tournament,
not so good.
That came up a bit more. Let's say, not that I'm thinking about it actively, but you kind of wonder why you're hitting this wall.
Do you have a sense or a clue what it might be, or is it too much chess? Maybe. I mean, is it?
I don't know. Sometimes I just stop, but it seems that I'm stopping for longer breaks now. But look, you have to factor in age. I mean, 4 guys are half my age.
Yeah.
And I think 4 of them were not born when I won the World Junior. So it's
okay. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Don't want to go there.
Not to drone on and on. I would feel better if Boris was around. I'd have some company.
Yeah.
Well, he's sort of around. He was there at the start. He was playing there a lot, but.
I'm deputizing.
Okay. Well, but you come away from this obviously with a better sense because you just competed. And
I think I did a good job here, but like I said, I really felt I threw away a nice event as well. It could have been so much better, but you can't pick and choose. So
not always. Anyway, thank you both very much. I really appreciate this, and we'll be taking another little break, and then we'll come back.